Hello, everyone. My name is Jordana Thompson, and I am the Program Coordinator for Junior Achievement of New Mexico. Thank you for attending our virtual Career Speaker Series event. This program is open to JA students across New Mexico and highlights business professionals, entrepreneurs, and innovative thinkers from a variety of industries. Each featured speaker will share details about their education, job, and career journey. During the speaker's presentation, please make sure your mics are muted. And if you have questions during the presentation, go ahead and write them down, or you can type them in the chat box and we will address those during the Q&A portion of the event. Today, I'm super excited to welcome Roman Escandon. He's the founder and owner of Athlete Ready Premier Athletic Training. Roman, thank you so much for being here today. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and then the floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. My name is Roman Escandon. Again, I am the owner and coaching director. I co-own with my business partner, Jared Saavedra, who is the founder. So I'll kind of go into a little bit of our history here in a second. But again, owner, director of coaching, and head coach. And so working towards working towards sharing a little bit about my professional journey today, a little bit about my education, and how I got here. So Jordana, do I have control of these slides?
I'll go ahead and advance them. Just let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm going to give you 2 winks. That means to go ahead and advance.
Okay.
Just kidding. All right. So I am originally from Denver, Colorado, and have been in New Mexico since I was 10 years old. Had a bit of a rough childhood growing up in Denver, and essentially it was the best thing for me to be able to move to New Mexico with some family, and get out of some situations I was in, and realistically that may have saved my life. And so I, again, have been here since I was 10 years old, going on to my education experience. My first school here, 5th grade, Governor Bent Elementary. I share that because I got to give a huge shout out to Miss Nick, who was the gifted teacher there, who essentially gave me hope. I was, again, had a little bit of a rough childhood growing up in Denver, and I had some classroom issues, and Miss Nick was able to see past some of those things, and was able to help me hone some of my energy, to help me kind of put it into a more productive, more positive way. So I told you I moved here when I was 10. 1998, way back when. And I moved here in August. My mother died in September. And so it was just crazy time in a tumultuous period, and Miss Nick was amazing in being able to pull me in and again use all this energy for all kinds of better things. So shout out to Miss Nick at Governor Bent. Cleveland Middle School was my middle school. Shout out to Mr. Brenneman, who again was my gifted teacher, and gentleman, same thing, kind of saw some extra energy going different ways and said, hey, young fella, come this way. And so Mr. Brenneman was amazing to not call my parents when I got in trouble. And as opposed to doing that, he started, he said, Roman, you got some choices. Either I can call your mom, or you can give me 10 push-ups for every time I give you a check on the board, right? And checks I was a talker. You will be able to tell here in a second. And just a social person, getting out of my desk and different things like this. And had a little bit of a temper based on just the upbringing. And so Mr. Brenneman said, I won't call your mom, but you're going to owe me 10 push-ups or 10 sit-ups or 10 desk dips for every time I mark, right? And so it went from the beginning of the year to, literally 9-10 checks on the board a day. And then you got tired of doing push-ups. You got tired of doing sit-ups during passing period. So you started kind of acting a little bit better, right? And you noticed that, okay, this guy actually cares for me. So he started giving us candy instead. So if you want, you can do these things, right? To not like single me out. If you want to do 10 push-ups, you get a little chocolate bar or whatever, right? So eventually I stopped having as many ticks and I started earning chocolate bars, and it was real nice. And so shout out to Mr. Brennan for taking care of me. Del Norte High School had some amazing people around me as well. Again, this is the knucklehead that I was. 8th grade, I didn't tell my parents about an F. They got real hurt at me. They said, Roman, you're not playing sports anymore. I said, oh my gosh, fine. Everything is gone then. And so I started my freshman year. as an athlete, right, not playing sports. And so Coach Kuhn, shout out to this man, was my PE coach. And he saw, again, a little bit of energy going in a lot of directions. And he said, come along, young man. So I came along, and basically he said, hey, I'm going to talk to your mom. And I said, man, you good luck, sir. I talked to my mom already, and good luck, you know. So give him the number. Said, man, have your way. So he called my mom and got home. My mom said, your coach reached out to me. You're going out for soccer. And essentially what he said is, hey, man, if he doesn't get these energy going in a different direction, he might use these things for not the greatest things. And that was exactly what probably potentially may have happened, you know? So he got me in soccer. I played soccer, did basketball, did baseball. And that was, yeah, like just a huge thing for someone to be able to stick their neck out for me and say, hey, man, this guy belongs doing these things. His energy is best used this way. Also, shout out to Miss Red, who was my Miss Redinger, who was my anatomy and physiology teacher, as well as our sports med. She was our athletic trainer. And I started taking athletic training in my junior year. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the body. I fell in love with, I mean, it just made sense to my mind. And she was an amazing teacher and educator, and being able to implement these ideas fairly simply, and really the Del Norte training program just in general was awesome. So shout out to Miss Red. UNM, go Lobos, right? Everyone's a Lobo. Got to UNM, pretty much knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an educator. I wanted to teach, and I was going to coach soccer, right? Without a doubt, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm telling people. Like, yes, I knew my plan. And then got to UNM, right? And I was a soccer player, as I mentioned. I had a coach my freshman, sophomore, and junior year who had played at UNM, who, again, hey, Roman, this and that. Hey, coach, can you help me out? Can you talk to these people? He's saying, I got you. And then my senior year, right before that, he had some family issues, and he had to depart. And so I'm left, like, is there a little bit before huddle and all these things of easy access to coaches. And so it kind of fizzled for a second. My heart was like, man, am I a collegiate athlete or not? So I stuck my head down, D1 or nothing, I'm going to walk on to UNM. So my whole senior year, I'm working towards this. There's some details that I'll share later that, just made it not a possibility, from NCAA registration to a couple other things. So got to UNM. I'm first semester trying to do this, trying to take all the classes. I think I took 16 credit hours of the hardest classes you can take. And long story short, I had too much fun. I was, trying to do a lot of things, and had too much fun my first semester, and I lost my scholarship. And so shout out to El Centro de la Raza. I went to them. I said, hey, here's my story, right? And here's what I'm trying to do with my life, man. I need help. And they were quick to give it to me. And they truthfully at that point saved my life. If I would not have continued college at that point, I don't know that I would have finished. So they helped me pay off some debt. They realistically, man, like, got me like, on my feet for a second, paid the rest of my tuition for that one, and gave me a job. And so gave me some purpose, gave me a little bit of mentorship of, hey, come around here. So shout out to El Centro de la Raza. Those guys, they shaped me. Going into my job experience, though, real quick, gotta share it. So this is going way, way back. My first job was and this all makes sense. So trust me, I'm gonna bring it together. But my first job was a lawn service. I mowed lawns. My parents had a lawnmower and a trash can, and I had a good amount of elderly people that lived around me. So I went out and we started lawn mowing service. $10, $20, whatever you had, I'll mow your lawn. And so that kind of just speaks to I had some ambition young. I was able to like focus my mind if I want to do something, and okay, I'm going to walk around and ask people door to door. And then I was a janitor. One of my friends had an opportunity he was a janitor at a place. He said, man, you want to do this? And I said, how much do they pay? And at the time they paid like $9.50. This is when everyone else in my like high school friends were making like $5.45, $6. So I was balling for a whole summer. And what that taught me, though, was humility. It was something that, without a doubt, I have the ability to kind of shut my mind off and just do things that no human wants to do. You get a call on your walkie-talkie, Roman, need a mop and a plunger. And so, yeah, it's going to give you some humility to do a lot of things. Going from there, Dion's, man, I worked my way up from the salads. I was a pie expert, just saying. Anchor Blue, just to say that I did a little bit of customer service, right? We have to work with some people to kind of see how people tick and all these good things. Nothing like the end of the night going and someone just messing your store up. You got to go fold everything again, having some patience there. Cold Stone, shout out to those guys, man. That was like a major part of my high school. They really supported a lot of what I did towards athletics and different things like this. So much that I went back in college, right, as my middle lane, and I was a manager there for a second. And so did that. That was awesome. That was fun. But my senior year, it was a little bit too much for me because I wanted to graduate and focus on my stuff. So I went to serve. And serving, super easy to get in and out. I was a music production assistant for a while. So you learning to produce music and different things like this. Shout out to Arrows. And then I found coaching. At first, I found coaching through Soccer Skills. Again, I was trying to walk on to UNM, but this time I got to stay sharp. I got to keep myself together. And so coaching is going to help me do this. Along with coaching, though, I had to make ends meet, as a lot of coaches do. So I did a little bit of contracting as well, right? So I did coaching from a certain time. I think it was like from 6 to like 9. And then I did contracting from like 10 to 4. And then I went back to the gym from, I think it was like 5 to 8. And so that was my first like piece of coaching. I wanted to do it. I didn't really know much. I found out what the big fish had. They had NASM. So I got the NASM too. And fortunately got hooked up by a friend who he was a assistant manager over at Define, and the rest is history in terms of me starting. I was still finishing up my college degree, and the Daily Lobo checked it every day. You got to get your dose of Daily Lobo. If you're a Lobo, you know what I mean. And they had classifieds in back. And one of the classifieds reads, needed speed coach for 10-year-old boy and 8-year-old girl. I said, I'm a speed coach. I wasn't a speed coach, ladies and gentlemen. I was not a speed coach. I knew some things, but I was not a speed coach. And so realistically, we were like late college. My wife and I think I had like, for real, like $100 in the account. So I'm like, I'm taking this. I'm going to do this, woman. It's going to be okay. And so she trusted me. And so she's nice with Photoshop and different things like this. So she made me some business cards. I was Roman Escandon, goal into training, speed coach. So I had my business cards. I went up to House of Soccer. Shout out to Opal. She gave me 10 cones, 10 balls, and 2 goals for like whatever the remainder of $100 was. And so I started. I was a coach that day. Shook my hand. The dad could totally tell I was sitting there shaking, trying to explain like the definition of speed to kids. It was ridiculous. But that is the right column over here. That's it's the goal into training. That was my first business. That was, again, I responded to a Lobo classified, and boom, here's what it was. And then from there, this is kind of, I met the right people, honestly. And that father was someone who got me another coaching job, who ended up connecting with someone who got me another coaching job, which, yeah, kind of just grew from there. Around this time, I got I think it was a message from some friends who were doing some really cool things in Albuquerque. They said, Roman, we don't care what you know. We just care that you're a good person. It was a nice way to say, young man, you don't know squat, come along. And so I did. And I didn't know very much at the time, realistically, right? And I mean, this industry is very, very broad. So you can be a coach and a trainer, and maybe the certifications are not as thorough as maybe one would hope, depending on who you're working with. So Elevate PHW, some dudes who do it really, really well and did it really, really well at the time. And they taught me, man, the kitchen sink, man, from everything from rehab to performance training to a good amount, right? So I have some mentors over there who I owe a good amount to. Shout out to you folks. After that was an opportunity to found one of the first strength and conditioning programs in the state at St. Pius High School. Myself and one of my business partners, Trey Casaus, were a part of that. And so I was there 3 years and had an opportunity basically to work with about 300 kids at any point. And so it was awesome. We would get there about 3:30. We would have maybe baseball start at 3:30. There's maybe 18 to 20 kids right there. And then 30 minutes later, football comes in with 40. And then 30 minutes later, cheer comes in with 18. And 30 minutes later, so it was blop, blop, blop. It was awesome experience. It was a lot of bodies. It was like so high paced and just like such a great learning experience. And so I had, again, about 300 bodies there. And that was amazing. Around that time as well, one of my mentors, Lawrence Herrera said, "Hey man, I'm doing this really cool thing. I have this guy who I train. His name is Cowboy Cerrone. If you are UFC savvy, you know who that is." And so he wanted to grow a gym in Albuquerque. And so I was a part of that founding team, and was given a huge opportunity to really help lead and form some ideas there. Um, and then around this whole time, right, I have this thing that we're growing at Performance Ranch. We have this thing that we're growing at St. Pius. And then one of my longtime friends, like I said, Jared Saavedra, said, "Hey, man, I want to do some things. Here's my ideas. I know you're doing some things. I think we could really do these things well." And at first it was, "Hey, maybe you take this thing and you do this thing that you want to do, and I do this thing that I want to do, and we go to separate directions." And essentially, I just saw the opportunity for collaboration, and knew that without a good amount of support, it would have been hard for me, truthfully. So in 2018, I went from those 300 kids to saying, "Hey, man, there's a lot of kids in Albuquerque, right, that are not at St. Pius. How do we help a bigger group?" So Jared and I ended up creating a partnership, and I became owner and coaching director, and essentially have worked to kind of take us towards. I mean, our foundation again is without a doubt youth youth athletic performance, and so we've expanded on that since. In ways that he had been doing before, but just trying to really solidify ourselves as people who can help a spectrum of people from youth to pro and everyone in between. Our youngest clients are 6 to 8. As our minis, 8 to 10 is our juniors, 13 plus is our youth athletic to college development. And we've worked with a good amount of the fighters from Jackson's, from the Trails, from Gracie, and different things like this throughout the time as well. We've expanded our adults. We've expanded our rehab. It was crazy. 2018 is when I took over, December of 2018. So first year was 2019. And then, so first year as a manager, going from a coach to a manager, hard. There's a lot of hats that you wear, and especially when I was coaching as much as I was. And then second year was COVID. Talk about a challenge and a half. But Jared really had got together such a great group of people. Like, our community is amazing, and the majority of people supported us and stayed, and yeah, just kept us afloat. And I mean, going way back to Cleveland Middle School. I met my wife when I was in sixth grade, right? Craziness. And then we started dating sophomore year. And then we got married at 21, right before she graduated college. And so we currently have a 10, a 7, and a 9-year-old, excuse me, 10, 7, and 5-year-old. And I just say this because this is COVID times. This is a young family. This is a young business. And it's just, man, this is the community just held us up. So it was amazing. And third year into management, fourth year now into management, things are going much better out of COVID times. So kind of getting back to a little bit more normal and doing things like this, getting people together, and just educating. So that's a little bit about my job experience. That's really how I got to where I was. I'll give you the 2 winks. And why? Why do I do this? Why did I choose this? And again, it really starts with kind of Mr. Brenneman of teaching me, "Hey man, if you can do too much push-ups, you can also maybe not smack that kid." And so this like physical strength and mental strength is something that coincides and that I try to help illuminate to other people, right? If you can be physically strong, you can be mentally strong, and vice versa, and you can put these things together to really accomplish some really awesome things. So realistically, what my business partner and I said, like, when we got together, is, if not us, who? Like, we have some things that we want to do for this city, and really for this state, and ideally contribute to our industry. And at the end of the day, if not us, who? And if not now, man, we're not getting any younger, right? I'm 34 years old. I started when I was 19 in terms of coaching. So this is something that I've committed my whole life to. Why not take an approach where I'm a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more responsible for things? My goal when I started this is I will lead a healthy, happy, generous family, right? Healthy is you got to be moving, you got to be active. Happy is definitely a choice, right? That's a mentality. And then generous is, yeah, I have to have enough that I can share with others. So I got to work hard to get those things so that I can go and share those things. And then it is, we will create community. And very much so, again, I've adopted a great community. And again, I said that I was adopted from Colorado to New Mexico. So adoption to me, man, I take it, it's my kids, you know? So I've adopted this community, man, and we've grown this community, and it's been amazing that we've kind of now partnered with other people doing really good things. We have a partnership with Sweat Hot Yoga at the moment as well, which that's an amazing community. So them joining us, we have a race coming up that we're joining community. So we got something like 35 people signed up at the moment for a Spartan race in November. So creating community without a doubt, and then creating opportunity from younger coaches teaching to ideally talking to you young kids. I see you with your head down. I see you. I see you. His head is down. His head is up now. But to talking to the young kids who, at the end of the day, man, this is how I felt. It's I don't know what I want to do, and even when I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how to get there. So it's hope that even if you don't know what you want to do now, it will be clear as you go through life, right? So it's being patient with that. And then it's using opportunities that you have, and going to my biggest piece of advice real quick. This is my dad, Antonio F. Escandon. He said, you get out what you put in. You get what you, that is horrible. You see that? That is typo right there. But you get out what you put in. And essentially it is anything that you're doing in life. If you put in minimal effort, you're probably going to get minimal results. If you put in quality effort, you're probably going to get quality results. So I challenge you real quick, from homework to athletics to helping parents out at home, man. It's not just people are not wanting you to try hard and do well because they're trying to be bossy. But realistically, that these things come back and they pay dividends if you are able to, again, control your mind and your body. So thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for giving me a few of your minutes. Jordana, thank you very much. Anything else?
Thank you so much, Roman. That was great. At this time, we're going to move into our Q&A portion of the event. I'll start off with the first question while you guys think of some. And if you want to throw your questions in the chat, I can relay those as well from there. So, Roman, can you describe a time when you failed at work and how you handled it?
Oh my gosh. So I told you I was a server, right? So Elephant Bar, back in the day, if you're as old as I am, you remember an Elephant Bar was popping. Um, and so I went to Elephant Bar. I had a few friends who worked there, and my wife actually worked there at the time, and they really liked her, right? And so I got it in pretty easily. And so got the interview, boom, got everything, boom, got hired, boom. First day of work though, I'm coming in and there's traffic and there's just, I mean, yeah, there is just a million things going on. And I show up 2 minutes late, right? If you know where Elephant Bar is, it's like uptown. You got to get through things. You got to park. You got to, right? And it's first day. I don't know these things. But I also was ill prepared, right? Because I didn't plan on these things. And so I get in there 2 minutes late, and the gentleman shakes my hand. Thank you very much, Mr. Escandon. Your services are no longer needed. And it's just like, man, to get fired on your first day before you even start, hot dang. And so that was just a smack in my face. I think that truthfully, a lot of young people need to have an experience like that, to where it's like, no, man, the expectation is up here and you hit it here. That's not good enough. And so that really, yeah, I mean, I tell people that story like often, because it's, hey man, like, just so you know, there's some people out there who are not messing around. And again, a serving opportunity is not the end of the world. And truthfully, I ended up getting it back, right? Resiliency, try again, kids. That manager, I don't know if he quit or got fired. I don't know. A couple of weeks later, he wasn't there, and I tried again, and I got hired. But that's what it is. It's a little bit of resiliency. It's understanding that, man, don't blame the traffic. Don't blame that guy who was made a bad mood and really just like took it out on that. But it was something that, yeah, that I needed a wake up call, and at the end of the day, it's served as a great example since.
Love that story. Thank you for sharing that. We do have a
Yes.
question in the chat from Miss Casey's class. What is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of my job is connecting with amazing people like Terry Casey. If you guys don't know who Terry Casey is, she is your teacher. And she's amazing. Yeah, works her butt off on the bike, in the water, and on the road, and in the gym, and in life, helping people out. So truthfully, without a doubt, it's the cool people that I get to meet and interact with, and be able to help out. And yeah, they in so many ways, like, it's a reciprocity of they help me learn and I help them, and it's amazing.
Awesome. Looks like we have a question in Ms. Townsend's class. You can go ahead and unmute.
Good afternoon. My name is Ariana, and I just wanted to ask, what was your favorite job?
My favorite job, without a doubt, has been gym owner. Without a doubt. I think all of them, and that's why I kind of gave you a list of don't think that you have to start off doing exactly what you want, right? Man, I started off as a lawnmower and then a janitor. And it's again, try to learn something from everywhere that you go. And truthfully, if you look at my stuff though, Anchor Blue got me a discount, Cold Stone, I hooked people up, you know what I'm saying? So like do some things that have some reasons, I would say. But without a doubt, I love this. I get to do what I love. I get to connect with awesome people. I get to move all day. Yeah, trying to stay buff, you know? So great question.
Awesome. Any other questions in Miss Townsend's room or Miss Casey's room? I'll ask one more question. So, what's the
Yes,
best piece of advice you've ever received, Roman?
Again, I mean, I kind of touched on a little bit of you get out what you put in. And that's something that I don't think that people realize. Again, it's something that when things happen, it's, oh, well, this and this and this. It's how much did you put in? Did you put in the maximum or optimum amount of focus? Did you put in the maximum or optimum amount of work before the work? Right. We know that there's rough drafts for a reason. So how many rough drafts did you try before you got to your ultimate? Right. And then along with it is impatience proves a waste of time. Right. It's kind of like a little tongue twister, but impatience proves a waste of time. So it's you can be impatient and like want to get there and want to be an adult and want to be at the next level and want to. And I've been there as a young coach, as a young man. I think that at the end of the day, to be patient and to just trust the process. Joel Embiid, you know what I'm saying? But no lie, to be able to trust the process a little bit of, hey man, I can't. And my mentor, honestly, at Elevate told me this, Roman, you can't be a 10-year coach without 10 years. And I was like, you don't know me. And at the end of the day, yeah, I have a heart that, man, I would like to say tenacious. I have in me, you know, and so I'm gonna push and I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna do a little bit extra. But without a doubt, it's you can't be a 10-year coach without going 10 years. So yeah, put in your time, put in your effort, and things start to stack up, even when they don't maybe look like they are.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I wrote that one down. That was a good one.
All right, thank you so much.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, Roman and students. We hope you enjoyed today's program. Before we log off, I just have a couple of announcements. Following this presentation, you will be asked to complete a post-program mindset survey. We would really appreciate your participation in evaluating our program. Teachers, please make sure you share this link with your students. And lastly, please note that these events are happening monthly again, and we will be hosting these on the second Wednesday of every month. So please join us next month on October 8th at the same time, 1 o'clock, where we will welcome a young entrepreneur named Natalie Tobin, and she is the founder and owner of Runway Hair Salon. So keep an eye out for those registration links in your email. Thank you again, Roman, and to everyone on the call. Have a great day. You guys take care.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.
Thank you.